brother. You got to come back to the black race, man. You over here in the white race, man. I can't believe you. You are I don't even want to say it, man, but you need to study more black history. You are a black man, but a platform, and you're using it for the wrong reason.
888-971-SAGE, 888-971-7243. I am Larry Elder. We are ReliefFactor.com studio. My guest and I are talking about the documentary called Thomas Sowell, Common Sense in a Senseless World. It's hosted by my guest, Jason Riley. Jason joined the Wall Street Journal back in 94, became a senior editorial page writer in 2000, member of the editorial board 2005, published a number of books, Let 'Em In, arguing for a free market approach to immigration. Second book, Please Stop Helping Us, about how government efforts to help black people often backfire. And his most recent book is False Black Power, an assessment of why black political success has not translated into better economic advancement. He's also from New York, lives in New York City, earned his BA in English from State University in New York at Buffalo, and was born in Buffalo. Sorry about the Bills, Jason.
Thank you.
Jason, we're talking about the transition from elementary school to middle school, and Tom says that the elementary school he went to in New York was pretty good, but the middle school would have been bad. And this gentleman, Eddie Mapp, encouraged him to go to a better school, kind of almost like choice, almost like vouchers.
Exactly, and that's been something Tom has written about quite a bit, the importance of school choice. In fact, his most recent book, of course, is about charter schools and their enemies, which he published on his 90th birthday last year, amazingly. So he has long been interested in giving blacks in particular more options, that the traditional public school system has not been doing the job that it should be doing, and that more educational options would get the job done. That's been an abiding theme of his over the years.
Another big point in the documentary, Jason, is his assertion that the phenomenon of single-parent households in the black community is a new phenomenon, that even during slavery, a kid was more likely to be born under a roof with his biological mother and biological father than today.
Yeah, and that's a very, very important point, as you know, Larry. This idea that the situation we see today has always been this way is simply not true. As recently as the early 1960s, 2 out of 3 black kids were raised in a home with a mother and a father. Today, more than 70% are not, and in some of our inner cities, it's as high as 80 or 90%. And this is reflected in so many other areas. Socially in our lives. For instance, people talk about the poverty rate among blacks, but among black married couples, the poverty rate is in the single digits, and has been for a quarter century. So, is the poverty rate a reflection of racism or a reflection of family structure? And is the problem single-parent homes or racist? I mean, married black people are just as black as single black moms. So Tom has spent a lifetime highlighting these things that seem commonsensical, as the documentary says, but in fact need to be stated over and over again because the left simply doesn't want to accept the reality.
Tell us about what Tom talks about, trade-offs.
Yeah, one of Tom's big points is that the civil rights movement, in particular, since the '60s, has spent a lot of time trying to guilt trip whites instead of focusing on self-development, which it was more focused on in the early half of the 20th century. As late, from the 1880s and 90s all the way to the 1950s, the percentage of married blacks was higher than the percentage of married whites in this country. And that broke down after the 1960s. And the emphasis moved away from black self-development and toward blaming whites for the problems of blacks. And, of course, also toward gaining more political clout for blacks, which was thought of as a way to rectify the past. And Tom says, no, you shouldn't turn away from the self-development. It's worked for other groups, and it can work for blacks as well. And the civil rights movement has decided to spend its time on guilt-tripping whites instead of on self-development. And that has been a trade-off that has not worked well for blacks, particularly the black underclass.
My guest is Jason Riley. Jason Riley is an editorial board member of the Wall Street Journal. Jason, we're going to take another break. We come back. I want to talk to you about the fact that Thomas Sowell started out as a Marxist, and you ask him what changed his mind, and I'll let you pick up the story on the other end. Now, how many years have I been talking to you about Relief Factor? 5, 6?